And 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Boom. Live, ladies and gentlemen. Jarred Cosart, how are you doing, bud?
Can't complain. Can't complain at all.
Doing all right. Hey, man, glad you came on here and did this thing.
Happy to be here.
For sure, for sure. So, those of y'all don't know, Mr. Jarred Cosart is, I don't know, how do you describe it? Current, former, future MLB pitcher?
I'm a free agent, I guess you could say.
Okay.
Past player, current free agent, hopefully future player again.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of hanging out, kicking it with the guys, enjoying life, experiencing an early semi-retirement, which I hate, and I'm hoping to get back on a field again soon.
Yeah, man. This is 10 years or so? This is kind of your first little time off?
Yeah, it's been new. Got drafted in 2008, so this is first. I've had like an 8-month off season, which has been got to work on my golf game. That's about it.
So what's going on with all that, man? I know you had a little bit of injuries, plaguing you last couple of years. And how many games did you actually play last year, or did you get going?
Oh my God, I pitched. I don't know exactly how many starts. I threw up until end of May, right after my birthday. So I got about 2 months in. So I probably had 10 or 12 appearances. Previous year, I've had the same surgery 2 years in a row. Had some bone spurs removed, nothing crazy, but arthritis and whatnot. So I haven't had too many innings the last couple of years, and that's kind of why I'm where I am now.
Mm-hmm.
With this year, kind of red flag to teams. I might have to play some winter ball down in the Dominican or Mexico, try and get exposure again and show I can throw innings.
You still got it? You feeling good?
Feeling good. Staying in shape, staying healthy. Seeing the trainer throwing bullpens, all that stuff. I've thrown for some teams, and it's kind of been the same sentiment. I need to get back out there in a competitive atmosphere, whether that's Mexico, Dominican, somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Just get some innings so they can see that I'm healthy before they sign me to a contract.
Yeah, pull the trigger.
Pull that, yeah.
So what are you throwing? Give the people out there an idea.
Well, fastball, curveball, changeup. I threw out in Palm Beach a couple weeks ago for the Nationals, and back up to 96.
Is that where you at your peak?
My peak, I was 94 to 97, and there for a couple of years, I was in the top 10 in starters velocity. I averaged about 95, and I feel good. Doctors have told me it's never going to be 100% back to normal because I have arthritis and whatnot. So there's no cure, but just trying to find a maintenance program and whatnot. But I feel pretty close to back to health. I'm stronger and healthier than I was 5 years ago, but I don't know. It's just a matter of how the arm will hold up.
Yeah, for sure, man. That's a pretty common story, I guess. With a lot of guys, get going and rolling, have a successful career, and injuries start hitting. You're 28. Yeah. So that's not. Right now you should be kicking into prime. You know what I mean? That's especially for baseball, right?
Yeah, we're trying to get back, and that's the thing. I feel like I can still pitch, so I'm not extremely worried about it. But I also know that I had I played 10 years professionally, a little over 4 years in the big leagues. So, if it does come to that point where I get back and the arm isn't right, or I don't get an opportunity for some reason, I think there's opportunities out there. It's just kind of one of those things. There's a lot of quality. John Lackey's been a Cy Young finalist and made a ton of money, and he's won a World Series, and he's sitting on the couch. Got a lot of quality players that are still free agents, and there's only 2 months of the season left before the playoffs start. So I don't know, man. There's a huge free agency market next year. A lot of big money, big name players. I don't know if that's something. I really don't have an answer as to why I or anyone am in the situation that I'm in or we're in, but it's just been one of those things, and a lot of those
trying to just do what you can do.
Control what I can control.
Exactly.
And these owners that have billions of dollars, and maybe they're being advised by someone, and that could be part of the reason. I honestly don't know, but just keep grinding away and trying to get a shot somewhere. That's really it.
10-4, man. Cool deal. Well, how was baseball growing up here in Texas? I know we've got a huge market here in the Houston area. I had zero experience with it whatsoever growing up. I was a football guy, right? And then I married my wife, and her son was a heck of a little ball player. So we've been doing the whole travel baseball scene for the last 7-8 years, right?
Right.
So I kind of got my whole feel of it, but I want to know what your experience was. Your top prospect guy, obviously. You know, how was it for you?
Well, I just know it's changed a lot since
even since you were there 10 years ago.
Oh my God! Like 10 years ago, I'd say select ball was just starting to gain its kind of where it's at now. But now, I mean, I played American Legion ball. I played in high school, obviously, Little League, Pony League growing up. But now it's all select ball. I mean, I don't even feel like kids need to play in high school anymore. I mean,
there's a lot of people that feel that way.
Right, I mean, the exposure of the leagues, like Perfect Game is the big, that was like just coming around when I was fortunate enough, Jerry Ford and the guys there went out to Cincinnati and had a showcase out there, a national showcase with a lot of guys, big league, Jarred Cosart with the Astros, a lot of those guys just coming on the scene. And that's pretty much kind of paved my path. But now that's like, everyone goes to that.
Yeah.
Everyone plays select ball. I mean, American Legion was the thing back then. I mean, we played against Texarkana we played them in the state championship for 3 straight years. They had Michael Waka, John Stilson, Will Middlebrooks, all first-round draft picks, and now American Legion baseball doesn't exist. So I'm not saying there's anything wrong with select baseball. It is a money pit, man. I mean,
yeah, for sure. Well, I can tell you from our experience, if anything, it's watered down to the point to where you don't know what's really good and what's not. Because everyone tells, oh, this camp's got all these scouts, and then this group over here, we've got all this stuff going on, and it's hard to know where to spend your money because it all costs money,
right?
But it's hard to know where to get the best bang for your buck, right?
Well, and the saddest part about that, I mean, it really is that everyone sees. I mean, there's been a lot of successful companies that have been started by people that are just smart business people. They have investors. They get a nice facility thrown up. They start a baseball team. Their baseball knowledge isn't great. They might not even play the game.
Well, that's the thing. There's no coaching going on whatsoever on any of these select teams.
No, and now these people that are getting these money from investors, they don't even truly know. They're going to pick. I mean, you can go online. I mean, anybody can go online and find the best elite youth baseball tournament in the country. And if you pay enough money, you can take a team there. And I mean, I've seen guys over in Houston and Dallas and throughout Texas that's what they do. And they tell parents that, yeah, we'll get your kid exposure. And then they get them to pay double so they can cover the cost of tournaments and get the thing. And that's kind of what I was telling you earlier. Like going forward, like right now, obviously still wanting to play. I wouldn't even charge anybody, but pointing people in the right direction because I had no older brothers. I had no one. Like I went to Clear Creek, graduated in 2008. The guy that got drafted closest was I think 2004. Never knew him, never spoke to him. So I went into my whole recruiting. I went into everything blind.
Yeah.
So I had no idea either. And if I can help people out now, I can pick out somebody that knows what they're talking about as far as select baseball and not. But I mean, the thing is, like you said, you don't really know, and that's the thing they prey on. That's what's sad. That's what it's become now is they prey on people that don't know.
Exactly.
And as a parent, if I had no baseball knowledge, a guy's charging a lot of money and he's going to these tournaments and stuff, I might assume he knows what he's talking about too.
Yeah. It's I think we I don't know that we ever got it quite figured out, but I think we got some good balling with Brady, and you just, again, you never know. So, but the camps, even the camps at the colleges, where they come to this college and they give you a list, all these college scouts are going to be there and this and that, and you come up and there's supposed to be 20 and there's 3. Stuff like that. And it's just, some of it you kind of roll your eyes at and some of it you roll with. But, and especially for these kids, man, growing up doing that, it is a lot of ball. It's every weekend. It's multiple games a weekend. Mm-hmm. It's for years at a time. Mm-hmm. If they make it to that point and they're still not, like, strung out on it, kind of got it all blown over, that's just somebody who loves the game and likes to play, likes to compete.
Right.
And that's the way, Brady never complained, and he went and showed up and played and all that stuff, and he had he's always liked it. So now he's going to play ball at ACC, and we've kind of got a game plan for him. If baseball goes any further, we'll pursue it. If not, we're going to go on with our lives and go to school and everything. But
well, the problem too with the select and the money pit is, you think it's so like everyone says, there's a million scouts, like play in high school, play here, you'll get scouted. I don't really know if that's the case, because I think these scouting directors and stuff get a select list of people, and that's kind of who their eyes are on. Because, I mean, I firmly like our 2008 American Legion team. We had 12 to 14 guys go play in college, but like a few of them, Tigre, like Brent Denny, these guys had to go a junior college route, and they shouldn't have had to, because we're playing against other people. Like, I'm seeing guys at these tournaments across the country that aren't near as good, and somehow they're going to a D2 school or they're going to a D1 school, and their talent. So a lot of times, I mean, I think the whole game of baseball at any level now is timing, right place, right time. Like, these contracts that are given out at the major league level are absurd. And I mean, there's a lot of players, you know, I mean, do they deserve it? You never really know. I mean, I don't think anybody's worth $300-something million. I mean, and I played the game. I've been paid to play baseball, but I think that's absurd. I mean, we got guys that save lives that make $200,000 a year. I mean, putting things in retrospect, we're playing to entertain, and that's what it ultimately comes down to. And it's nice. Obviously, it's a great living, but I mean, we're talking like that's a little bit absurd.
That's crazy money, right? Crazy money. Yeah, I'm telling you that. Probably the most action we ever got with Brady throughout this whole process was putting together a 2-minute video with some clever editing and some music behind it and sending it to coaches. And that's where we got the most conversation from out of anything throughout the whole thing. And, you know, it is what it kind of opens your eyes. But it's a huge market, man. It's a huge market, especially this area. There's a ton of money, a ton of people involved, a lot of ego. Well, you find that out quick.
I mean, every kid starting in Little League wants to play in college.
Yeah.
And wants to play in the big leagues, wants to play. I mean, and now a lot of it too is, I mean, you get the companies, the hitting facilities, the clinics, the select ball, all this stuff has been started, and they're all pulling out a bunch of bullshit, honestly. Like, oh, we'll get your kid to the big leagues. Like, the percentage of people that make it, everyone knows that. It's like, it's a very minute, but I mean, kid, like, I was watching something today. I was watching Hard Knocks today, and the football coach was like, let football pay for your education. Yeah. Not the other way around. And that's a great quote. Like, there's a lot of good baseball players that never make it to the big leagues. Some might have been good enough to make it, but opportunity, circumstances, everything proved otherwise. But take full advantage. Like, dude, you got a chance to go play the game you love, get an education. You can go try and hack it in minor leagues or independent ball or whatever, and still try and make it for a couple years and know you have a 4-year degree in your pocket. Yeah. And I highly encourage kids to do that. I mean, use baseball to get your education.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's a good point. That some of the conversations had by parents and coaches or whatever throughout this whole thing, I've kind of like, and like, again, I come out with fresh eyes. I was a football guy, I never was into baseball, and I'm just, you know, some of these parents are like, well, I'm telling my boy not to go D1, that he needs to go JUCO in case he gets drafted. Yeah. You get, you know, you have more leverage for a signing bonus and talking all this stuff. And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, is he going to get drafted? Like, I mean, I've seen him. I've watched him play the last 2 years. I don't know that's going to happen. You know,
that's fortunate, because I mean, I was fortunate to hang around like my buddies' parents and my parents and most people I knew. I mean, now it's just, like I said, it's changed so much. I'm seeing these little league kids' parents on TV like talking about their kids going to the big leagues.
Yeah.
I'm like, your kid's 12.
Yeah.
Like, none of our parents at any time thought, like, my parents to this day I never thought you'd make it to the big leagues, because when you put everything in scale, like, if you got to go to JUCO, that's one level. Then you got to go to a 4-year school. Then you got to get drafted. Then you got to go through 7 levels of the minor leagues, and then you got to get a call up to get one day in the big leagues. Like, people, like, yeah, baseball's fun. Baseball's great. Like, I tell everyone enjoy it, but also do your thing about playing the grind, and that's what's changed. Like, I mean, I played basketball, football, and baseball. Yeah. And I enjoyed the shit out of every single sport. And that was one of the reasons why I don't think, I mean, 2 of the best players I've ever played with to this day got burnt out sophomore year in high school. Yeah. Because it was just too much. Their dads were running them in the ground. They were going all over the place. And they were just like, I don't want to play anymore. And they played, and they ended up going to college, but they had no desire, and they hung it up, and now they're working, doing well, and that's fine. But that happens a lot too, and that's another thing I see.
I know, that's what I'm saying, man. I loved football playing growing up, but if I had to play it year round and I'm just, man, it's.
Well, it's fun too, and again, it's different. You know, before we could have bourbon and have conversations, and before like when we would roll out when it didn't matter how tired we got, and we were 13, 14 years old.
That's true.
And you're like, you want to play baseball every day, but parents, I don't think realize every day that'll wear on you,
dude. Absolutely.
And that's why I think my parents today.
And the biggest thing, or not a big, but a big factor in it that I think is underplayed, undersold, is, and I've found this out like later on in life as you start figuring shit out, right? Is these kids are out playing every day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 11 o'clock at night. You're getting off. You get off and you're going to Sonic picking up a cheeseburger.
Yep.
You're getting candies and Gatorades and whatever at the ballpark. They're staying up till 1 a.m. Got to wake up at 8 a.m. the next day. I mean, it's not a healthy lifestyle. Period. Like you're picking up fast food. You're stopping at Shipley's and getting donuts and kolaches. I mean, it's bad. Right. It's a bad way to live and go. And all these kids, they have all this talent in the world and they're all athletic and they're whatever, but they're just feeding themselves junk, not getting enough rest. School slacks. You're great. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You're not getting enough sleep and everything to keep up your grades, and just like, man, is all this really worth it?
Well, that's the thing where like parents have to like. The routine,
it's got to be balanced, right?
Yeah. Well, the routine is great because you're going to have a routine in life no matter what you do. The camaraderie is great, making friends, playing baseball. You love baseball. That's all great, but I think it gets overdone because, I mean, these parents think that's what the kids need to go to the big leagues.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I would tell. If your kid's good enough, he don't need to be pitching every damn.
How many pitches are these kids throwing in a summer? You
That's
know what
I'm saying. And I know now they're throwing curveballs at 12 years old.
Yeah.
They're throwing, I mean, they're just abusing their arms. And I don't know where the parents are getting the information that they need to play. And another thing I love to tell any parent is your kid's 12. I don't care what anybody has told you, unless you're Bryce Harper, which one every 20 years. There ain't no scouts at your 12-year-old's tournament. There probably is no scouts at your 14-year-old's tournaments.
Yeah.
They're high school, unless they got someone really good. Like, the scale of getting scouted at 14 and under is non-existent unless you're on the cover of Sports Illustrated, like Bryce Harper. He's one of the only people in the last 30 years.
Yeah.
And it's just a false... These parents, I don't know what they're reading, what they're hearing, what they're, like, thinking, but... there comes a point like you have to realize, like, and you'd hope the parents are smart enough to realize, like, is your kid, is he even good enough to go play in college? And honestly, like, I was a late bloomer, man. I was good, but
when did you know? When did you know that I got a chance to do this thing?
Well, when I was a freshman in high school. I remember the summer vividly. I never really pitched full time. I just decided to pitch in a game. This was a month or two before high school started. And I remember the high school coaches being there and threw a couple pitches, and I was like, man, that felt different. Like, so I started throwing harder. I ended up making the varsity, and I remember we were playing. Hardly played at all. Clear Lake. I went to Clear Lake my freshman year. Had a really good team. Played Fort Bend Bush in this tournament, and they had a kid named Jarred Cosart, big 6'5", African-American kid. He ended up going to LSU and getting drafted, and there's a bunch of scouts there. I struck him out on 3 pitches, and I was like, I'm, again, 14, and the majority of the team is seniors, and I'm like, and I knew who the guy was because everyone was talking about him before the game. So I was like, okay. And then that summer of my freshman year, started playing select ball a little bit up in the Woodlands and did pretty well, and then transferred to Creek, got on the Legion ball team, and just kind of, I honestly, I'd say middle to end of my junior year, when I started, pitching and playing against the, like, elite talent and holding my own, I was like, I think I can do this.
Yeah.
I mean,
how hard
at that
point,
point,
were you throwing then?
my freshman year in high school, I hit 93. I probably pitched around 88 to 91, 92.
Yeah.
And then the summer after my sophomore year is when I hit 95, and then I started pitching at 93, and then like you start to think I'd be lying. I knew I had a chance to get drafted. I don't know when I thought I was pitching the major leagues, because like, you get in the minor leagues, it's like a whole nother deal. It's like you get punched in the face halfway through a season. You're like, damn, am I good enough? Like, what am I doing? It's like, should I have gone to college? Should I have, like, do I need to go home? Like, that's a whole nother topic of conversation. But I mean, there's been plenty of times where you wonder, even after getting drafted, like, did I make the right decision? Is it worth it? Like, am I going to make it? I mean, everyone has those thoughts too.
Yeah. So. It's funny you say that, man. I watched you play, I think, 3 minor league games, 2 with the Hooks, and one you were on, was it the Oklahoma team?
Oklahoma City.
Yeah. And y'all played in San Antonio. Y'all were playing in San Antonio.
Missions.
And you got rocked.
Yeah.
That game I showed up, and it was me and my wife, and I think the boys were with us, and they hit like 4 or 5 bombs off you that game, and I was like, man. So it's funny you say that. You get in there and you play against that top 10. It's just another thing, because everybody's a killer at that point, right?
Yeah. I mean, you get there, and I mean, gosh, going back, I don't know. You get there and you're used to. I mean, in high school, I broke a batting average record in high school. Like, my ERA was low, and you're just used to having a lot of success.
Dominating. You can say it. You're dominating.
I don't know. I mean, I didn't necessarily say I was dominating pitching, but I was more of a hitter. But yeah, you dominate, and it's like, I mean, I remember the first start I ever made in pro ball was in Clearwater, Florida.
Thanks, sir.
And you go in and you're like, oh, I'm a big prospect. I'm a badass. I got drafted. Like, I'm going to show all these kids what's up. I had a 27 ERA after my first game. And I was like, calling my dad, like, Dad, I don't know about this, man. I don't know. And then, you go on a streak and you run off some good games, and then your ERA is all of a sudden 2, and then you get moved up a level, and then but it's like, man, it's rolling with the punches. That's like life. Honestly, it's like life. Baseball's taught me a lot about life. I mean, you're gonna have ups, you're gonna have downs. You ride the wave when it's good, and you just roll with the punches when it's bad. It's gonna turn around. But I mean, baseball has taught me, God, so much in that sense, man. Like learning experiences, and you were completely on, like, minor league baseball at 18 years old. I was completely on my own. That's the one thing about college. I mean, college athletics, no matter, junior college, D1, D3, you're going to have support, a little bit of structure, a little support system. Like, you're going to have, like, your coaches are going to make sure you go to class. If you fail, you're not going to play. Like, obviously, going to college and not playing sports, you can do whatever. You're on your own too.
Yeah.
But the minor leagues, it's like, there wasn't no room checks. There wasn't like, there was no rules. I mean, you're in the real world playing the game and going.
So when you're in single A, double A, triple A ball, you're playing against 25, 27-year-old men, huh?
When I got to triple A, I was 21, and we had a guy that was 37 on our team.
Wow.
I was 18 in the Gulf Coast League, and we had a couple guys that were 25, 26. So, you got to grow up fast. It's going out of high school. It's like, and man, you make your mistakes. Like, I didn't do shit in high school. I didn't do shit growing up, and it's like, wait, I don't have to be home at a certain time. And then then obviously you get knocked on your ass, and you're like, okay, I still got to go to the yard tomorrow. I got to pitch in 3 days. I got to do this. I got to do that.
Yeah.
You learn. You learn. There's a right time to say things. There's a wrong time to say. I learned everything you can learn in life. I learned playing baseball.
That's good, man. In the minor league system, so what does that structure look like as far as practice? What are they teaching you really? Is it those coaches that are really tweaking your arm and your form and everything, trying to get everything out of you and more consistency and all that stuff, obviously, right? But, I mean, what does all that really consist of at that point?
Well, I mean, if we're being honest, coaching at every level, and including Major League Baseball, there's a select number of good coaches. Quite frankly, I've had coaches at various levels. I mean, I've been with 4 different organizations via trade and stuff. There's been quite a few that didn't know if their ass from a hole in the ground. I mean, so the structure, I mean, rookie ball, they have someone that's good with kids, basically, because it's usually the 18, 19, 20-year-olds, and then they send the college kids ashore. Honestly, if you went to college and you get drafted and you had a pretty decent, successful track record in college, coaches, honestly, I mean, very broad, coaches don't mess with you unless you're doing bad. If you're doing good, they don't mess with you. And they'll try and mess with you when you're doing bad. Or if you have questions, they're there to talk to you. But honestly, like, the best coaching advice I got, I mean, being an athlete, if you're successful in high school and successful in college, you know your body, you know your mechanics, you're not dumb. As a hitter and a pitcher, like, the best advice I got from coaches was mental.
Yeah.
And that started in low A, my manager, Mark Parent, pitching coach Steve Shrink, and then advanced that up. I go get traded to the Astros, go to Double A. I have a great strength coach, great pitching coach. Go to Triple A, have another great pitching coach, and then all of a sudden you're in the big leagues. And when you get to the big leagues, man, you're on your own, dude. Those coaches are there. A lot of them, like, I had Doug Brocail, he pitched 15 years, and that guy was incredible. Like, I'd come to him and I'd be like, hey, man, my front side doesn't feel good on that curveball. He's like, you gave him no runs. Shut the fuck up. Get away from me. And I'm like, okay, you want to go watch some video? He's like, no, dude, you gave no runs. Fuck, who cares? So honestly, like, the good ones, that's what it is, man. When you're going good, they leave you alone.
Don't mess
with
nothing.
If you have questions, they'll probably answer it. And then, like, dude, the veteran guys, the guys that have been around for, like, you mean Houston fans, Verlander, all those guys, they have their routine. They don't, like, tonight he gave up 6 runs. You aren't gonna see Brent Strom running to him saying, Justin, we need to watch video. We need to tweak your mechanics. Your curveball looked like shit. Your fastball wasn't good. The guys like that, regardless of if you've been around the game long enough and you've been successful, there's
not much they can tell you.
And I mean, not a knock on the Astros, but I mean, how hard is it to coach that team? You got five all-star starting pitchers. You got 7 or 8 all-star position players. I'm not saying it's okay. Being a Major League Baseball manager is extremely hard. I won't take that away from anyone, but it makes your job a hell of a lot easier when you got good players.
Yeah, absolutely,
like any sport. Like,
that was that's football. That's basketball.
They said that today.
How hard is it to coach LeBron James the last 15 years?
Hey, go out and here we go.
LeBron, dunk all over everyone.
Yeah.
Ready, break.
Yeah, Tom Brady. Here, we're gonna just call whatever. You can call whatever play. He's gonna throw it where he's gonna throw it, and I mean, yeah. So yeah, in a sense, like I said, I mean, I don't know if I'd ever want to be a manager, but if I did, I'd sure as shit want to be managing Houston, not Baltimore Orioles, who are 50 games under 500.
Yeah,
it's a little bit different. But being a manager of a team like this, your decision making is going to be put under a lot bigger microscope.
Yeah,
if you make a bad or questionable decision, to say.
What was it like going up with the Astros that first game? I mean, you get called up to the bigs, right? And we watched that game. Hometown team. Well, who'd you play? Was it Miami?
Tampa Bay.
So it was Tampa. You went, 8 1/3?
Yeah, 8 1/3. I had 6 1/3 no-hit innings. Man, I don't even know, like, as far as emotions, like, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to describe. So, I mean, you dream every day of getting to the big leagues. And then, when I got traded to Houston and I was already, like, I reached kind of like a prospect and, like, a guy that had a chance to get to the big leagues and I was pitching well. I remember being in AAA and I'm like, man, I got a chance to, like, I went and watched the 2005 World Series at Minute Maid Park. It was Enron Field then. Like, and I always, like, told my dad, like, I want to play here. I want to play here.
Yeah.
And get that call going up the big leagues, and I'm like, motherfucker, dude, like, this is crazy. I remember, man, fly to Tampa I just laid there and looked at the ceiling. I tried to go to bed at like 9:30 because I'm like, I need my sleep. Actually, I couldn't sleep, so I texted my buddy Paul Clemens. He's like, hey, let's go walk down the street. I ended up like 11:30 at night. Went to this rooftop bar in St. Pete. Sat up there. He had a couple drinks. I had water. I actually saw the Rays manager, Joe Madden. That was kind of crazy. He had no idea who I was. Had some water. Dude, honestly, like, I still thank him, like, for that to this day.
Yeah.
We walked back, like, 1:30. And I just talked because he'd been up for a couple months. And I just talked to him. We were just, honestly, just talking baseball, shooting the shit. I went back, got in bed. I went right to sleep. Woke up, just cotton mouth, big-ass lump in my throat. My parents were in town, went to grab a bite to eat. Couldn't eat. Couldn't get nothing down. And I walk into my first big league ballpark, which just happens to be the shittiest ballpark in Major League Baseball. That place is about to fall down. But still, like, compared to minor league baseball, it's incredible.
Yeah,
you walk into the clubhouse and you see the guys I was around in spring training. Carlos Pena, like Bud Norris, the coaches, Jose Altuve, Springer just got caught. What is the core of the Astros now? A lot of the guys I became close with, my locker's right next to Dallas Keuchel. Like, it was kind of like, man, this is really happening. And I go out there in the bullpen.
What are those guys telling you the day before your start, or that day of your start? What are they telling you before the game?
Well, some of them said too much, and I was just like, man. Bud Norris' best advice, man. He's like, don't look up and just breathe. Like, if you want to look anywhere, just look down at the dirt, because the big thing, like, when you get called up to Major League Stadium, is 3 decks, which you're not used to seeing. And I'm telling you, I made that mistake that same year at Dodger Stadium. Dodger Stadium's 4 decks.
It's a big place, right?
68,000. And I was always wondering, like, why the fuck do you tell me not to look up? Like, I want to see the stadium. Dude, I looked up, and it's overwhelming. A lot of respect, because I got nervous every start. You got to think, doing anything, any job. If you went to work and did it in front of 60,000 people, it'd be a little bit more stressful. But anyways, Tampa Bay, the bullpen, there's no netting, there's no nothing. Dude, first 4 pitches sailed over the catcher's head, and it's rolling down. Dude, I see our manager, Bo Porter, and the pitching coach, Brocail. They're like looking over the railing down at me like, what the fuck? And I'm just like, oh my God. Like, my heart's going 500 miles an hour. Like, I finally throw a few more pitches. I go sit down, and I'm just like, well, if I throw like that, I am fucked. I better figure it out. I went out there, throwing my warm-up pitches all over the place. The first batter stepped in, Desmond Jennings. And I threw a fastball, got a strike. He grounded out the shortstop. And I'm still like, my heart's racing. Finally calmed down, got the second out. And then this is my first big league moment. Like, Evan Longoria's walkout song, I don't know what it is, but it's like well known. He's had it for 15 years. And it comes on that loudspeaker in Tampa, and it's loud as shit. And I'm just like, that was my, like, welcome to the big leagues. Like, you're really here.
Yeah.
But that kind of was like the weight off my shoulders. It's like, you made it.
You're here. Yeah.
And then got him out, and I went 6 1/3, no hit, and I was actually walking out to the mound in the 7th, and I looked up, and I'm like, fuck, I got a no-hitter. And Ben Zobrist, my first big league strikeout, was the first big league hit I gave up, too. Right, but if Altuve was 5.5, he would have caught it. But he's not. And, yeah, man, that year was, that feels like an eternity ago, man. 2013, that's when my debut was. Pitched half a season, flew by. Then had half a season in 14 before I got traded to Miami. But my time in Houston was great, man. Like, being home.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah, man. We came and watched you play a bunch of times, man, and it was exciting to see, man. You made it, right?
Yeah,
you made
man.
it, and that's the cool thing about the hometown guy making it, right? Is everybody's there, and they're like, we got a guy, right?
I'm telling you what, man. It's pretty surreal.
Yeah.
Even I went back and watched the game a couple weeks ago, and it's weird being on the other side, but like just being in the stadium, knowing that I pitched there for 2 years, it's it's cool.
Yeah.
Like, it's cool. But
how was the World Series for you last year? Were you rooting?
Yeah. I mean, I still have guys that I talk to on the team. I still have guys that I came up playing with. So obviously being from Houston, you know, I don't hold any They gave me an opportunity to pitch for a year and a half to make a living in the big leagues, to get to live out my dreams. So you don't hold any, you know, resentment to people that gave you an opportunity. I was rooting for good baseball, and obviously we got any baseball fan got what they wanted.
Yeah.
And obviously times are different. Like I said, times have changed from when I played in Little League, and times have changed for the city of Houston, man. Like the expectations when I played here were hoping to win. Let's go 500, man. Let's go 80 and 81 or something like that. Let's figure that out. And now it's like,
repeat.
You got some non-realistic fans that want to go 162 and 0. I see people on Facebook like, I can't believe AJ made that decision and send this guy down, do this, and I'm like, here we go. Like, we won a World Series and everyone's an armchair coach, and like, I just remember 4 years ago, no one cared.
Yeah.
Like, we had a game against Miami. I remember the week before I got traded, we had a paid attendance of 8,000. Like, that's like stuff I got in the minor leagues.
Yeah.
You get more people than that in the minor leagues.
Wow.
So times have changed, man, but you know, it's good for the city. Obviously
Absolutely,
with Harvey and everything, and all three sports. I'm a Houston diehard, man. I was born and raised here. I've always rooted for the Rockets, the Astros, and the Texans since they've been in existence, you know.
Yeah.
And all three of them right now, it's fun for the city, man.
Sure enough,
it's good entertainment.
Absolutely. The Astros last year, at a certain point, it kind of turned the table, and then this year, it's been an event, right? It's like going to a Stros game. A Stros game is a thing.
That's that old brain.
Yeah. Yeah, Tyler poured me up something stiff. We're enjoying some whiskey here, and our buddy's got us.
I got a nice little strong one.
Yeah, got a little bite.
That's old Brandon.
Well, I wasn't expecting that. I went from Booker's to that. Wow. Okay. Anyways.
Yeah, man. But yeah, man, Houston's been a turnaround. We went to the parade last year, just hanging out and having a good time. The boys, especially, you know, they're playing baseball, they're loving it. It was a real good time, and like you said, right after Harvey, emotional. It was pretty badass time, man. So, what's the plan for? Where would you like to go? Well, if you had a pick, I don't know if you could pick a team necessarily, but what would you like to? If you could pick how your career plays out, how would it play out?
Ideally, man, I'd love to get a shot to be in the bullpen in Houston, man. Like, that'd be ideal.
Yeah.
If I could pick any route for my career to go, I'd play 5 or 6 more years coming out of the pen in Houston, hopefully win a World Series or two, and call it quits and open a facility, try and advise some young players, and go from there. See what happens.
Yeah. Have you gone out of the pen before?
No, not really. But I think if there's concerns about durability and injury, that might be a route that teams want me to go, and I'm all for that. Realistically, I just want an opportunity. I don't really care where it is. If you're playing in the major leagues, there's not really a bad city in the United States. Just to get a chance to help a team win, that's really all I can ask for, and show that I can still do it. Talk's cheap, and I know that. And my track record's pretty good. I wasn't the greatest pitcher ever. I wasn't an all-star. I think if some things went differently and I might have been healthy. My bottom line is when I've been healthy, I've been a pretty damn good pitcher.
Yeah.
I don't claim to be an all-star or anything like that, but I had a lot of success
What's
in the
your
big
batting
leagues.
average?
In the big leagues?
Off the topic, yeah.
I have no idea. I do know that
I've seen every game I watched you play that you hit.
Yeah, well, I don't have a very good batting average, I know. But I do know that I have a very good batting average against Jacob deGrom, who is going to be the Cy Young winner this year for the National League. And for some reason, I got lucky against him multiple times. We BS'd about it in the outfield because he's a pretty good hitter himself.
Yeah.
He got me one game and I got him one game. He's like, dude, what is the deal? I think I want to say I'm like 4 for 7 against him or something.
That's
like,
crazy.
But I'm like, dude, honestly, I don't really know. He always throws me a fastball because he can't get ahead of me, and then I just flip some shit into right field. It's I'm saying, like, the most uncomfortable at bat I've ever had has been against Doug Fister, and he was throwing 85.
Wow.
I don't know, man. I have a huge respect, and honestly, I've learned more being out of the game for 8-9 months than I have being in it.
How so?
Dude, I used to stand in the box and not take it too seriously because I was focused on my pitching, and I didn't really give a shit if I got out. And then now I'm just like, dude, hitting is hard. Like, hitting is really hard. Pitching is really hard. Round ball, 17-inch plate, and they got this wooden bat that's 32, 33 ounces. They're trying to put on the baseball, and the ball's moving either way, horizontally. It's moving down. It's moving whatever at anywhere from 68 to 100 miles an hour. And I mean, we always talk shit like hitters and pitchers go at it, man. Like, it's part of the game. It's fun, but in retrospect, we always say, like, dude, if you succeed 28% of the time and you hit 30 home runs, you're an all-star.
Yeah.
And that's it, dude.
That's crazy, right?
You say that, and it's like, it is what it is, but now being out of the game, it's like, if you succeed 28% of the time at anything you do, you fucking suck.
Yeah.
Like, if you're a surgeon, you're out of a job.
Yeah.
You're getting lawsuits. Like, if you're anything, dude, 28%, you suck. That's the thing. That's how hard baseball is. Like, if you're 28% completion percentage as a quarterback, you're out. 28% free throw shooter, unless you're Shaq, you're out. 28%, like, it ain't hacking it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, dude. And now I think back, I actually brought that up, hitting. I gave the hitters sometimes too much respect. And now I know when I do get back playing, like, dude, it's hard. And I had good stuff. Like, my ball cut a little bit, and I was 93, 97. And I had a good curveball and a decent changeup. Like, and I think a lot of it is mentally, man. You try and be perfect. You want to perfect yourself. I mean, I had hitters. I was represented by the same agent as Harper and those guys, and you talk to them, and they're like, dude, your stuff's nasty. And you're kind of like, that's cool. Like, Bryce Harper told me that, whatever. But you don't really take it seriously. You're trying to, like, okay, I got to get better. I got to get better.
Yeah, you're focused on yourself.
Instead of realize, like, use what you got.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing now I tell kids, like, dude, if you're, like, doing lessons for some young kids and stuff, like, if your stuff's good, use it. How do I get my curveball better? Why does it need to be better, man? Like, you got everybody out. You do that. Do whatever you just did.
Yeah.
Period. Like, you got everybody out. Don't make anything any better. Like, don't think too much. I've pitched with 6 different deliveries when I played. Not good. Not good for you. Like, stick with what you got and ride it out. Like, if you look
like
at
every game, you would have 6 different deliveries.
No, like throughout my career. But it's
okay.
like, it's not good to go into an off season and completely change everything. Well,
that was the
because you want to get better.
That was the Tiger Woods syndrome, right?
Yeah,
he'd break down a swing every year, and eventually caught up with him.
And then, like you said, he may play the best golf of his life in 2 years, but he's going to suck for 2 years. And when a guy like that sucks for 2 years, he's going to beat himself to death mentally. And I was in that boat. I mean, trying to perfect what was already not a bad product. Yeah. And that's the hardest thing I think about being a baseball player and being someone that's succeeded a lot and been in that situation is you want it all. Like, I gotta do this, I gotta get better, I gotta do this, that, and the other. No, man, like, it's not the case. Like, be okay with being really good.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as perfect in this game.
Yeah.
At all.
That's good advice, man. Who was the scariest dude you went up against? That walked up to the plate and you're just like, fuck.
Well, my rookie year, David Ortiz, man, like, he was going on as kind of, oh, shit. I faced Derek Jeter. my rookie year. He was just going away, like his last year. That's
surreal, right?
Yeah.
Golly.
I don't know. I wouldn't say I was scared, but like that was kind of like the wow.
Yeah.
Like, okay, Derek Jeter's in the fucking box right now. Like, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then Big Papi, like his presence, like that's a big dude. And I was a rookie, and I'm like,
yeah.
okay, Big Papi's in the box.
Just throw it in the dirt.
Oh, I'm like,
throw it in the dirt four times.
Let's go. Yeah.
So what was your mentality going into that against these guys? Was it, all right, you're one of the greats of all times, let's do this, let me see if I can get you out? Or were you holy shit?
It was funny, man. Like at that point, I was like, holy shit, like these guys are so good. I better, like, hopefully I get them out.
Yeah.
And I got them out. And that mentality is not a good mentality to have. But that was my first start of 2014 was against the Yankees here in Houston. And that was Derek Jeter's going away year. And I was just like,
yeah,
like breathe. Oh my God. And then, it ended up working out. But yeah, man, those two guys probably off the top of my head. And then once I got past those jitters, it became like,
just
it didn't
another
matter.
Dude.
Yeah,
just another dude, right?
Man.
Because you're worried about yourself hitting your spots, and
that's the thing, man. Like a lot of those guys, man, just another dude.
Yeah,
like, a lot of cool dudes, just playing baseball.
Yeah,
and the guys like Mike Trout he's like one of the best dudes you'll ever meet. Like he's a dude.
Yeah, it's good to hear, man.
Yeah,
that's pretty crazy. Yeah, I couldn't imagine walking up, staring down. Big Papi walking out and the crowd's going crazy, and you're like, well,
for me, it's like I've watched this guy my whole life, and I'm like been dying to get a chance in the big leagues to face him, and then he actually gets in the box, and I'm kind of like, oh man, like I wanted this my whole life, but dude, now that guy Papi owned me. He went 3 for 3 with, all ground ball singles that beat the shift. We won't even get into that. But yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, what can you do? You're not the only one.
Hey man, Hall of Famer got a hit off me.
Yeah,
whatever.
No big deal.
It happens. It is what it is.
That's funny, man. What was I gonna say? What was your schedule like? Being a starting pitcher, you're obviously not out there every game, right? But you're still traveling with the team. What is that? I know 162 games in a 365-day year, just that on its own is a fucking shitload, right? What is that travel like? City to city, plane to plane?
Well, that people don't understand. Like you're on charter flights, and it's a great life, but no matter how you draw it up, when you're going coast to coast and 3-hour time change, especially going forward, going from like California to New York, it's a 6-hour flight, and then you lose 3 hours, so it's basically 9-hour turnaround, and you gotta wake up and go play.
Yeah,
that stuff. The hardest part about the game is travel. That's the hardest part, and it's not an ideal lifestyle for anyone to try and raise a family or be in a healthy relationship. You got to have a strong woman, and that, dude, it's like, it's 16 days home, 15 days gone, 15 days home, 16 days gone, nonstop. And planes, hotels, room service, and that's it.
Yeah, and when you're home, you're not really home.
No, my routine was, if we played at 7 o'clock, pitchers usually got to be there around 2. I'd usually get there around noon. So, but I'm not getting home till midnight. So I'm waking up at 9, watching TV, grabbing some breakfast, hanging out, going to the field. Go to the field, work out, watch film, do whatever you got to do, see the trainers, all that stuff. Go outside, you throw a bullpen, pitchers bunt, take batting practice, then you shag batting practice, come back in around 5:36, eat, hang out, shower. Then you go out and watch the game. Game gets over 10:30. Come in, eat again, watch video, shower, go home, sleep, or watch a movie, whatever you want to do.
What is it like on the road? Are you still same routine? You're working out at their facility?
It's long. The road is longer, so If you have a game at 7 on the road and it ends at 10:30, you got to wait. You got an hour and a half after the game. The minute the game ends, you have an hour and a half before the first bus goes back to the hotel. Mm-hmm. And then you have 30 minutes after that before the second bus goes back to the hotel. I mean, you can always take an Uber back or whatever, but that game ends at 10:30, so the bus back to the hotel is at midnight.
Yeah.
And you got all that hour and a half, you got time to see the trainer, shower, sauna, workout. Yeah, the facilities are ridiculous. I mean, that's one of the perks, but yeah, you get all that done. You get on the bus. By the time you get back to the hotel, it's 12:30, 1 o'clock. You pretty much go to bed, and then the next day there's a bus at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and 3 o'clock. They go to the field, and if you're a rookie, you have to be on that first bus. It's just kind of like the rule.
Yeah.
But it doesn't change. It's the same thing every day for 100. And if you have an off day.
What does strength and conditioning consist of in that? I mean, what are y'all's workouts looking like during the season?
Most people have their own workouts from the people they work out with, like during the off season.
Their personal trainer or whatever.
Yeah, everybody's thing varies, and for a starting pitcher, it's like the day after you pitch is cardio, then it's usually a lower body workout, and then a total body workout. Then like core and stuff, and obviously you're doing, flexibility stuff every day. You're seeing the trainers and everything like that. It's kind of broken down into a 5-day routine.
Did any of that help you, or flip a switch or do something that when I do this, it really translates to the field?
For me, no. A lot of people no. A lot of people yes. It just depends on the person.
Yeah.
I had a lot of different routine. I wasn't so set in something that I never did something that it was like, oh my God, this is like the know all, do all, see all. I kind of combined a lot of different things that a lot of different pitchers did that I'd been around in the game, and kind of pieced it together and worked a bunch of different things into one thing. So,
yeah.
And it worked well for me. You got to balance the running and the lifting and the eating. And I mean, it's hard to eat good. I mean, they have good food for you, but with all the travel and stuff, I mean, a lot of times when you get into a city, you're getting room service, and I mean, you're getting a cheesecake and a pizza and whatever else.
Yeah. Where was who's the coolest town? What's the coolest place to play?
Stadium wise, I love the new stadium in Minnesota. I love San Francisco. San Diego is pretty amazing. Like playing there was awesome. There's a ton, like Gaslamp District, man. A lot of food, a lot of sights, a lot of stuff to do. I mean, you got the Navy ship there. You got Hotel Coronado. You got Coronado Island. You got all kinds of stuff to do. That's one of my favorite cities. There's stuff to do in every city, man. Like I've had an off day in Milwaukee. You go to a brewery. Seattle, you go up in the Space Needle. Toronto, you go up in the CN Tower, man. They got a restaurant up there. New York, you go shopping, you go check out Wall Street. I mean, every big league cities.
Every place got their perks.
Yeah, big league cities are all big league cities. There's no. My least favorite city to go is Cincinnati, because there's just not a ton going on. But you can always find something some site to go see. And then Baltimore's not the greatest area and the greatest park, but the restaurants are. Seafood is ridiculous.
Crab cakes.
The ridiculous. I mean, you're not gonna find even Cincinnati, man. Like my least favorite place. It's like there could be worse places.
Yeah,
man. Could be playing in Low A. I played in Delmarva, Maryland. It's on the border of Delaware, Maryland, and Virginia, and then Hagerstown, Maryland. Dude, we're talking there's a Waffle House and a dollar store, and you have an off day there, there's nothing to do.
Yeah.
And then when you get, like I said, you're in major cities in the big leagues. There's not really a negative of anything.
Yeah. 10-4.
And you get through you get through the jet lag, especially getting to the yard, and it's like, wow, I'm in a big league stadium today. Not a bad gig.
Yeah. You don't have to say it if you don't want to, but is there anybody that ever rubbed you the wrong way? You ever got crossways? Anybody ever charged the mound on you?
No. I had one of the guys in baseball, he was actually a former Astro from the World Series team in 05, that when I got called up as a rookie, I wanted to kill him, man. And he knows that to this day. Like Chad Qualls. Dude, I respect him so much to this day for that. He was on my ass every day. I mean, he'd say mean shit. He would say like just derogatory stuff. He would get on me about cleaning up, like carry the balls, do this, that, and the other, all this little stuff. And I hate this guy. I fucking hate this guy. And dude, within him, Scott Feldman actually, and Bud Norris, dude, I was like, I hate you guys. Like, this is how you're really gonna treat me. And I was always taught, man, like, when you go up there, like, just do what they say, because there's a lot of hazing, and it's not really out of hand, but
yeah,
if you take it the wrong way, and if you're sensitive, it's not a place for you, man.
Yeah,
not a place for you. I mean, I've heard stories about things that have gotten way worse than what I had to deal with. But dude, I wore it, and I hated them. But it's funny, man. You go on the road, they'd always ask me to go to dinner. They'd always pick up the tab, and then you start telling stories, and then it's like, hey, Cozy, you don't have to carry the balls this trip. We'll make somebody else do it. Hey, you don't have to carry all my bags. Hey, you don't have to bring me coffee when I tell you to.
Yeah.
Dude, there's a lot of good times that came from that. From being like, dude, they pick on you. Like, rookie hazing is not, it's not fun. Like,
yeah,
I can't tell all the stories, but like I said, I've heard way worse than what I had to go through.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that seems pretty. It's pretty. I wouldn't say typical, but that's a common story on all levels, right? I mean,
yeah, man.
High school, freshman coming in.
Yeah,
you know, college ball.
You're going through.
Yeah,
You're going through it whether you like it or not, and you're the
punching bag.
Yeah,
you're the punching bag. Yeah,
and that's, dude. You know what? You don't like it. I'm sure. That's what I said. You don't like it. You can go back to the minor leagues, and I was like, no, I'm good. I'll carry your bags, clean your shoes, whatever you want.
How are some of them guys living, man, with them $300 million contracts? What's that life like?
Honestly, I didn't really play with too many guys that were really big money. I mean, some guys are flashy, some guys aren't. Latino guys got a lot of flair, a lot of swag. I mean, they like the Gucci and the Louis Vuittons and the fancy watches and stuff. Good style. It's not for everybody, not what a lot of people like to spend their money on.
Yeah.
But, I mean, play with Giancarlo Stanton, biggest contract in history of baseball, and he's got he had a sick penthouse in Miami, but other than that, man, he had a Maserati, but it was an old one, nothing crazy. Had some decent jewelry and some nice clothes, but I mean, dude, he didn't live a lifestyle any different than somebody making $200,000 a year.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things, like, a lot of people respect G, and a lot of guys, I mean, he liked to have fun. He'd go out, he'd pick up a tab for guys, pick up a big dinner, but other than that, man, I've actually been pretty fortunate. I haven't played with too many assholes, like, as far as money goes.
Yeah.
Obviously in San Diego, it was a young team, not a lot of, I mean, Will Myers signed a deal, but dude, that guy, Will Myers is a guy that, I mean, he wears gym shorts and flip-flops and white tees everywhere. I don't even, like, he's comfortable living in a barn, man. Like, it's just real laid-back cat.
Yeah.
Just no one would know that he signed $80 million contract. I've actually been pretty fortunate. I've heard, I mean, there's guys that like to flaunt it and spend it, and especially, like, make the rookies feel like inferior and stuff. But I've been pretty fortunate. And I've also played on 3 teams where, dude, when I was in Houston, the highest paid guy was making $4 million, which shit ton of money, but
in
on baseball, it's
not
like
so much.
he would, I don't even know, he'd be like the
least
lowest
paid guy
paid
on the Yankees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he'd be able to crack that roster, you know what I'm saying? But I've been fortunate in that aspect because, it's definitely different, especially going from the minor leagues to the big leagues. It's different.
Yeah. No, you hear all the stories, man. I mean, we've all seen the 30 for 30 broke, right?
Yeah.
Where they talk about all this stuff. Did y'all have people in the locker room selling suits and jewelry and shit like that?
Oh yeah, man! Every spring training
Really?
they come in. I mean, dude, they have some high quality like people. I mean, usually those guys are coming in from Major League Baseball sponsors that, and that's another thing. Like it's kind of like a catch-22. It's like they don't want you to spend your money, but they have like Rolex dealers and like suits that are $3,500 coming in. And that was another thing. Veteran, like I hated Chad Qualls and I hated Scott Feldman, and they both bought me suits in spring training.
Wow.
One year, and I was like, well, I'm gonna trade in my Men's Warehouse suit now.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. And then, but yeah, man, you got everybody's trying to hustle, man. Like,
How do you?
And baseball players
That's so
are
crazy
targets.
to me. How do you get on that vendors list? Like, I want to go sell, Pal's fucking push pops or some shit. How do I get in a fucking locker room?
You gotta, dude. I'm sure I could call somebody, man. Like, you just gotta know somebody to. Usually, it's a clubhouse guy, or they get in contact with the team. But, dude, these people aren't stupid. They usually, like the suit people, usually have a nice looking chick come in to sell the suits.
Yeah.
And she's usually dressed to the nines, and I mean, she'll get 5 or 6 suits at $3,500 a pop, like clockwork, and then it could lead to another order, 2, 5.
Yeah.
Coaches can get something like, dude, they got a good business going.
Yeah.
And
well,
then,
I gotta imagine. I'm sure somebody in the organization is getting some kind of kickback.
Oh yeah,
allowing these guys in.
I don't know who or what, but
yeah, it only makes sense. I always thought that was so crazy, man. Them bringing in jewelry, bringing stuff in just straight to the locker room. Just like, man, that's nuts.
yeah, they want you to spend it, man. They want you to spend it.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. So what about life after baseball? I know you hit around, wanting to advise and kind of teach young kids, maybe give them a kind of path or route to go. But do you have any plans, aspirations, or goals for life after baseball beyond the?
I think it. I mean, everybody's dream, obviously, if I could play 5, 6, 7 more years and be able to actually retire.
Yeah.
Be to play golf and give some pitching lessons on the side and raise my daughter and be about it. But hindsight's 2020, man. Like, I thought about getting into real estate, taking some classes. I don't really know what I'd want to do. Real estate's always been kind of like that idea.
Now, are you talking about investing and buying and renting, or you want to sell?
I think both.
Okay.
I like to flip, but I also think, like, in the Houston area, I mean, I don't know how much my name's worth now, but at least I was a former Astro.
Yeah.
I mean, could work to my advantage. I don't know. I've always liked the thought of, trying to sell houses, trying to hustle and stuff. And then, I mean, the flipping, I know it can be a process and kind of fluctuates with the market, but it's something I've looked into. I wanted to do like physical therapy, something in the medical field if I were to go to college, but now 28, I haven't been to school in 10 years, haven't opened a textbook. I don't know how appealing 8 years of school sounds.
Yeah.
But it obviously, I mean, I kind of will cross that bridge when I get there. I'm fortunate to have played for a while and got to do a lot of fun things, to learn, and haven't really had to think about that too much. But this has obviously been a good thing too.
It sounds like you've gained a lot of perspective about things since your time off, and kind of you've got a good sense about you.
Yeah,
with everything, positive attitude about it all. I know I'm certainly rooting for you, man. I'd like to see you back in there, mixing it up.
Appreciate it. I mean, that's the goal, but honestly, like I was saying the other day, if it doesn't happen, I got to do something that every kid dreamed of, and I got to do it for 4 years. It's not like I just had a cup of coffee and and it's something I take pride in, and I have to hang my hat on. Like I was pretty good when I was healthy.
Yeah.
Injuries happen, and I'm not one of those guys that has to go make up a story like, yeah, man, I got hurt, never made it. It's like, I made it, and dude, I have a degenerative elbow, man. Like it's something I can't control.
Have you gotten the stories from guys that story? Oh, my my coach didn't put me in, or I blew my ACL.
Dude, everybody in America.
Golly,
It's always, and people think it's cool to guys have a conversation. Oh yeah, I played, man. I would have made it, but
Yeah.
And I get it. I mean, I feel like everyone wants to play in the big leagues, dude. It's an amazing life, and obviously, I wish I wasn't where I am now. I wish I was still playing. But like I said, man, hindsight's 20/20, and looking back now, it's like I tell any high school kid, college kid, whatever. I don't care how big of a prospect you are. Like, you still got to do your time. You still got to make it through. Probably, like if you're the elite of the elite college prospect, number 1 overall draft pick, you're maybe going to skip a level or two, but you're still going to have to put in 5 levels in the minor leagues. You're going to have to prove it. There's no guarantee. The number 1 prospect in Texas in 2008, Walker Kelly, left-handed pitcher. I think he got drafted, but disappeared off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
And this 95-mile-an-hour lefty, nasty, won the Little League World Series. We're talking Little League, Pony League, high school, college, draft. We're talking
number 1 guy.
Every level. And it's like, this guy's it.
Yeah.
Nope.
It's crazy.
Then you got a guy like Clayton Kershaw, who was a lineman in high, before high school, pudgy, left-handed kid. He throws kind of hard. Yeah, had a pretty good senior year. We'll take him in the end of the first round. See how it goes. 200 wins, $300 million later.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, you can't. That's another thing. All these kids playing. Don't judge the guy in right field in glasses, man. That was me. I didn't have glasses, but
yeah.
You don't know. If you came to my Pony League team when I was 13 years old, right before high school, and someone told you to pick the kids off that team who you think have the best chance to make the big leagues, I can 100% guarantee you my name would not even come up in the top half.
It's crazy, man.
And that's just, dude, you never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
I'm be curious to ask you that question about people talking to you about how they would have made it by the time you're 40, because a friend of mine, Big Andy, he was on the podcast before too, and I've actually witnessed this several times. Big Andy's about 6'5", 300 pounds, does strongman competitions now, and
don't mess with him.
Yeah, well, he's an NFL lineman. He was a practice squad player for 3 years in the NFL, and played 4 years for the Ags, Texas A&M, and big giant of a man, excellent athlete, all that stuff. He was elite of the elite, went to the NFL, couldn't get on the 53-man roster. And so, he told the whole story and this and that, but I've been there on several occasions when they're like, man, you're a big old guy, this and that. You play football? Yeah. Where'd you play? Well, I played for the Lions and the Dolphins for a few, and they're like, oh, they think they see big guy and they think in college, where'd you play college ball at? And he tells them he's in the NFL, and they're like, oh, well, shit. Yeah, man, I would have made, I blew out my knee and this and that. And they're looking, what position you play? And they're like, oh, right tackle. And he's like looking down at this 5'9", 230-pound dude, and he's like, you wouldn't have made it. He's like, because I wasn't big enough for right tackle, they moved me to guard. And he's looking down at this guy, and but it's funny because I've listened to him several times. He just tells him, he's like, no, you wouldn't have. Yeah. Just stop. No. And it's funny. He's like, I've listened to it for so long. He's like, he goes, I get tired of hearing it. So that's why I'm asking you. Now you're 28, and you haven't listened to it as long as he has, obviously, right? So I'll be curious to ask you that question by the time you're 40.
Yeah,
see if
man.
you have the same response.
And now it's kind of it's kind of just funny.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, sure. Yeah, you would have made it. Okay, cool. That's fine. And you know what? Maybe, honestly, maybe you would have. But like I said, I'm looking at, we just talked earlier about a lotto ticket, dude. Not quite as big odds, but, dude.
Damn near, right?
There's 8 billion people in the world, and there's 765 Major League Baseball players. That percentage is, and the number of baseball players in the world is high, man. And there's there's independent leagues, semi-pro leagues, like rec leagues. Like all these guys played at A&M, LSU. Like some of them were All-Americans. Like, damn, like, okay. And that's the thing. That a lot of guys, like we talked about earlier, they use that to start facilities and make a living and do damn well. I mean, I know some guys that never sniffed minor league baseball. They're making $150 an hour giving lessons.
Yeah.
Like,
what is the pro scout life like? That's something that seems so strange to me.
Unless you're high up, unless you've been doing it for a long time, it's like minor league baseball, man. You
got to put in your time.
You get a rent car. Team gets you a rent car. I mean, you have an expense, like you get a rent car and you get a hotel, which is nice, but you're making $30,000 a year, and you're watching a minor league baseball game in Billings, Montana, or Sioux Falls, Idaho every night, and you're just scouting, and you're doing your time, and you got a hotel and travel paid for, and
so in the minor league world, are they looking for trade prospects? Are they looking for people to move up?
They're looking for both.
Yeah.
It's trades, it's move up, there's always some.
Yeah.
But I couldn't tell you how much they're really looking. Like, certain organizations are different. You're obviously always trying to get better, but the thing is, those scouts, it's not old school like it used to be, where they go out and find players on their own. Like, there's a computer spitting out information to the executives and vice presidents, and they hand that list to the scout, and they're like, go watch these guys. Like,
analytics.
Yeah.
Is what they're looking for.
It's changed the game, man. Jason Worth, I don't know if you guys saw that, but made $180 million playing the game. Won a World Series in 08 with the Phillies. I got to be around him a little bit, but that was the team that drafted me. Dude, technology is great. I love it. I couldn't live without it, but it's changing. I wouldn't say it's killing. It's changing the game of baseball.
Yeah.
It's becoming the human element, and they're talking about getting damn robots for umpires, which I think would ruin the game.
Yeah. Why?
Just taking it, dude, human error. Like, that's something that's like built the game of baseball since baseball's been invented. Like, you need human error. And that's the thing now. So, I mean, there's the thing. Albert Pujols made comments like, he's hitting 250 this year. I think he's had 31 hits taken away because of defensive shifts. I mean, he's gotten like 7 or 8 hits because of the shift as well. I mean, obviously that works different for different players. I'm not sitting here saying shifts are bad, but you have guys making hundreds of thousands of dollars that have never played the game of baseball in their life, making formulas and algorithms based on a shitload of statistics dating back to whatever on how to position players. It's insane, dude. Like,
but does it work?
It does and it doesn't. It obviously, like, it works more than it doesn't work sometimes.
Or else they wouldn't do it.
Yeah. But the thing is, I can go back. They're going long term. And but you get into a game, say the Astros are in the World Series, and they shift on a guy and he hits a chopper down the third base line. There's no third baseman there, and they lose the World Series.
Yeah.
They're going to live. You live and you die by the shift and by analytics. And it's all great when you're living, but mark my words, dude, if they die in a World Series because of a shift, I don't know, man. Because I know for a fact a lot of these players aren't near as on board with this shift as the front offices are.
Yeah. See, I have no skin in the game whatsoever. I'm not a crazy fan of baseball. I enjoy watching. I enjoyed the shit out of watching the Astros last year. I was a season ticket holder the year that when you played for them. We had like the weekend season ticket pass, or whatever. But I did grow up watching it in the Astrodome, the Craig Biggio, the Randy Johnson days, all them guys, and Bagwell, Berkman, those were the guys that were there when I was growing up, and we enjoyed watching them because it was baseball.
Yeah.
But I'm not a history of the game kind of guy. My whole thing's been the NFL. I can tell you fucking stats and days and everything about the NFL, but baseball, I just don't have room for it in this little old pea brain, right? So I have no skin in the game with it, but I don't, and I can see both sides of the argument. It's the same thing in basketball these days with the 3-point shot.
Oh, yeah.
Is it ruining the game? I don't know. They're scoring a lot of points. They're winning championships. They're hard to guard. A lot of people made a good point, or someone made this point the other day. You're dribbling down the court, you're pulling up at the 3-point line, you're making a shot, you're running down to the court, you're guarding the 3-point line. You're cutting out 20 feet of the court on each side that you're not running. It's not baseline to baseline anymore. It's perimeter to perimeter. So how many steps and feet are you saving on these players' bodies that play for 20 years? I mean, all that shit adds up, really. It really does. So, and again, I'm not as well versed in baseball, but I don't know. It's a strategy game, right? It's a game of strategy and stuff. It's a certain strategy that people want to roll with, but who's the cat from the A's that's the Moneyball was written about and all that
Billy
stuff?
Bean.
Billy Bean.
Yeah.
So have they ever won a championship?
No.
So, but he's making competitive teams with
Nothing.
half the salary of these teams that are winning the championships.
And they're doing shifts. And honestly, like, if you want to talk about revenue and money, like Oakland, they play in the shittiest city, in the shittiest stadium. They share a football field with the Raiders, and it's a dump. They can't even get a new stadium to go to San Jose. Like, and you want, dude, they don't have a guy ever on their team that's making more than $10 million.
Yeah.
And they go out there and they're in a playoff race every year. That, to me, that says more than anything. Like, nothing against the Astros, but dude, you got 8 All-Stars on your team. You should be in the fucking playoffs every year. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not, it's not the A's. I watched a little bit of their game last night against Kershaw. Tyler and I did. You have literally everyone in your lineup hits 250. So you're an average Major League Baseball player, but somebody's good at this, somebody's good at that, somebody's good at this, somebody's good at that. We got a good pitching staff. We got veterans. We got young guys, and it's like, dude, you got 3 guys on your pitching staff that aren't even making him like $1 million. Edwin Jackson has been pitching for 16 years. Trevor Cahill's 35, was a rookie of the year, then disappeared, and now he's like having a
resurgence.
It's like he's one of the most impressive baseball guys on the planet, and I think anyone should tell you that. Dude, you got no names in that bullpen. You have, dude, no names, and like a couple guys throwing up 1.9 ERAs, 1.8. That says a lot about the scouting, the managing, the GMs. Dude, like, that's a team that's done it. That's incredible. It's incredible.
But at the end of the day, is it really a valid strategy if you don't win? If you don't win at all? Is just being competitive enough?
I think
that's kind of like the Rockets right now. Rockets, the Daryl
exactly.
Morey is
he's
analytic
a
guy,
yeah,
right? But
I'm with you on that.
Are they going to win Are they going to beat Golden State?
I don't know.
It's hard to see how. I think they had a good damn shot if Chris Paul didn't get hurt last year.
Well, I think switching over to the Rockets, like I said, a lot of time in my hands. Like, a lot of people on Facebook bashing, like, with the signing of Boogie Cousins, the Warriors are unguardable. They are literally unguardable. So people complaining about Ariza being gone, and Mbah Moute, who is literally, if you guys didn't watch the playoffs or right before the playoffs, is an offensive like disaster.
Yes.
And I know he was hurt, whatever, but he ruined us. The blah blah blah. Kevin Durant proved last year, if he's on, like a lot of these baseball players I play with, it does not matter.
Yeah.
You can have Bruce Bowen from the Spurs back in his prime, not locking down KD. We have the best defensive point guard in basketball. We have PJ Tucker, one of the best defensive players in basketball, and Clint Capella, one of the best defensive centers in basketball. We can neutralize Cousins. We can neutralize KD and Clay with Tucker, and we can neutralize Steph Curry. I said neutralize.
Yeah.
There's no stopping. And there's still 2 guys that aren't being guarded, blah, blah, blah. I think the best goal is like Carmelo's a great sign, dude. You're gonna have to score 120 and hope they miss shots because you're not stopping them. And our second team is where I think like we need to add. We obviously got to get rid of Anderson and hopefully add somebody. But our second team, whenever everybody's resting, all the studs are resting. Like our second team is going to be what wins us a championship.
Yeah, has to, right?
Yeah. And if it doesn't, we're screwed.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's an interesting argument. I think baseball's a little more, or not baseball. Basketball's a little more simplistic because you're only dealing with 5 players at a time, right?
Yeah,
but the whole analytics argument in baseball, whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether it's ruining the game, whether it's not. Like I said, I don't have enough skin in the game for it to hurt me either way. I do like the implementation of the pitching clock. Speed this puppy up a little bit. I mean, come on. 5 hours in the ballpark
Dude,
is.
it's how they make money, man. It's a lot of beer.
Sure is.
It's a lot of beer.
A lot of commercials too.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I could sit and talk about baseball for hours and how the new age and stuff. Like, I'd love for there to be a season where you can't shift. See what happens. Like, let's see how much. If the shift is that valuable and teams are that good, let's see if the Astros would win the World Series if they couldn't shift. I think they would. They have 8 All-Stars. Like, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Let's really see what happens. Like, yeah, it helps, but it hurts too. Like, and the thing with baseball compared to basketball and football, luck. Factors like you can't control. I know there's outdoor football games where weather's a factor, but you look at everything in baseball, like all the factors you can't control, weather, umpires, if a bat breaks, if somebody like, dude, there's a lot of things that can happen in baseball that can't happen in other sports. Like basketball, literally you're going to control, you're inside all the time. Yeah, you can't control the referees, but you don't have to worry about the wind blowing 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about it raining or snowing. Like, and in a lot of football stadiums, now you don't have to worry about that either. In some baseball stadiums, you don't. But, dude, baseball, like, there's a lot of uncontrollable factors in baseball. Man, like broken bat hits that you make a perfect pitch. And a lot of times in football and basketball, if you perfectly execute something, it's going to result in a good result.
Yeah.
Baseball, if you perfectly execute something, it might result you lose
disaster.
the game.
Yeah.
That's why I think separates baseball and makes it so different from the other sports.
Yeah. It's exciting to watch, man. It really has been. Like I said, when I was 14 through 23, 24, probably about 10 year span, I didn't watch a lick of baseball. Didn't care about it. On ESPN, I changed the channel. Like, it just wasn't. It just did. I was all about football at the time, and then watching that boy play, kind of learning more about the game, going from that Astros last year, and then Brady's senior team. They went 4 rounds deep or whatever in the state playoffs this year, and went on a good roll, and that was exciting, man. You want to talk about emotion? I've never been in a game so emotionally wired up, as those games, watching them guys play. So it really has changed my perspective on all that stuff. Same thing with Astros in the World Series last year, man. I was like, I just never been emotionally invested in any baseball before until the last couple of years. So it's really kind of opened my eyes to it, and it's been a lot of fun. It really has been. So I don't know. We're gonna hopefully the Astros go on another roll this year. We can enjoy it again.
Dude, they have all the pieces. I mean, there's no
what is
reason
this new
they
guy?
should.
What is all this hubbaloo about the old wife beater?
Dude, I don't. That's a front office decision, man. Because I know a lot of those players.
Well, Verlander came out and was,
yeah, man, he's no bullshit, and that's I don't blame him, man. Like, the main thing is, having been there in the past, like a lot of guys, including myself, have been in trouble and maybe fined or reprimanded for like social media tweets.
Just saying things, yeah.
Yeah, and then you got a dude that's been, like, he beat, like, he's serving a suspension of 80 games, which I still think, I mean, that's another topic. Like, we got to tighten up the policies for cheating and stuff in Major League Baseball. They're ridiculous.
How do you so? Too harsh?
No,
or too lenient?
it's a joke.
Oh,
like,
yeah?
dude, if you find a guy $50,000 that's made $100 million, is he going to learn anything?
No. But I thought, as far cheating, how? Like, what do you mean, like
steroids?
Well, I thought
wife beating, like all this, like 80. Dude, my problem is you suspend Robinson Cano for 80 games. He's making $30 million this year, so he loses half his pay. He still makes $15 million. He's already made $200. Does he care? No. And let's be honest. If we're being honest, been around the game a long time. If you've signed a $280 million contract and you get busted for steroids, I'm going to go ahead and logically say that you're probably doing the steroids
before
from the beginning. That's just really, like, it's not rocket
common sense.
Why are you gonna sign a 200? Why are you gonna be set for life? Your family, your family's family, and so on, and do steroids, unless you've been doing them the whole time.
Yeah.
I mean, I've talked a lot of why, for what reason. And again, I don't know. I don't, like, some people feel differently. Some people think, like, oh, they come from nothing and they're just trying to set their family up. I would do steroids too. Like, you don't cheat the game. You don't cheat the hand that feeds you, and that's what these guys are doing. And quite honestly, like, we talk about steroids and these, like, if you break the law, you should be gone. Like, there shouldn't be, like, this 3-strike policy with steroids. I think is bullshit. Like, there's been, like.
So what? It's one game 80, or one you get caught once 80,
2 a full season, 3 you're gone. But again,
what's baseball? 3 strikes, bro.
Yeah, but that's bullshit. Think about it. So, for instance, D. Gordon, I played with the guy, loved the guy to death, like, still in contact with the guy. He knows how I feel. He knows how a lot of people feel. You cheated the game. You got a 5-year, $50 million contract. You served your suspension in the second year when you were only making $1.5 million. So you lost $500,000 of $50 million.
Yeah.
You cheated the game. You cheated the hand that fed you, and you're still making $49,500,000. How is that fair? Whether you come back and not cheat, for me, if you get caught in the middle of a contract, you should give all your contract back, and you should have to start over and prove you can do it, not on steroids. And you should have a drug test every single week, and that should be that. There should be no questions asked, because when you fuck up like that, and it's already shown, like, once you do it once, you're probably going to do it again. That's like going back to when we were kids, man. Like, you get that first spanking, it's like, all right, it hurt, I cried, but we're going to do it one more time, see if dad does it again.
Yeah.
And you do it again. But, dude, you keep giving people, like, if you can cheat and do this stuff and keep it in your system for a while to get that next contract when you do come back, because that stuff doesn't just go away. It stays in your system.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like, they got to, a lot of these problems that we face in all these sports, man, it's because of money.
Oh, well, yeah, absolutely. That's life in general.
You start hitting these guys where it hurts, where they can't go out and be stupid, things might change. But until then, like I said, dude, you find these NFL guys $50,000 and they got $3 million in the bank or whatever. What in the hell are they going to learn?
Yeah. Who was the dude that got caught with the, like, enough fentanyl to kill half the country or some shit?
I don't remember. I know who you're talking about.
He was like some $100 million.
Yeah.
He'd made like $160 million in his career or something. This dude's fucking selling drugs and shit.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing, Aaron Hernandez? Come on now.
Dude.
It's crazy.
I'm trying to make more money, trying to whatever. And that's the thing, man. I haven't got to, again, I've been on some good teams and not good record-wise, but like a good group of guys.
Yeah.
But I've heard tons about greed.
Yeah.
And Fortunately, I've never experienced it
Hadn't been around
myself
it.
or been around it, but we sit here hindsight 2020 talking like two normal dudes having some drinks. It's like, why the fuck are you trying to make more money, dude? You got fucking $90 million in the bank.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I don't get it, man.
But I've heard I mean, you read Hank Haney's book about Tiger Woods, like he's an adrenaline junkie, man. Like getting to the store in 10 minutes is like his high. Like making an extra $100,000 on something is his high. And that's how people get into addictions. That's how people get into problems. And like I said, I'm not an expert. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not all that. And I haven't been around it, but that's just, hearing stuff through the grapevine and how that's, you can read that in any book, man. Money's ruins lives. Money ruins relationships. Money ruins a lot. And when you get used to this lifestyle of traveling all the time, not having to answer to anybody, being able to buy your way out of problems, being able to buy whatever you want, like it can
be addicting. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's crazy, man. Some of these stories, some of the stuff that comes out and the things people do is just, it's mind boggling to a lot of people, but I'm not in that situation. I don't have 100 million. I haven't lived that guy's life. So, who am I to judge? It's just but the stories themselves, it's just like, what are you like? What?
Oh, I mean, look at majority of the crimes and things that happen. Like a lot of it's trying to get money.
Well, yeah, crime.
It's either trying to get money or you already have too much money.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. I mean, everyone's after money, and it's good and bad. But I think it's a huge problem.
Well, there's a balance, right, of ambition and ego, and kind of family and life, or whatever. There's a balance in all that everybody's got to figure out for themselves.
But I think with the human mind, I've had multiple discussions with Tigre about it. I've been in the situation, dude. If you have money, there's probably I would say there's a select 3% in the country that if you have money in front of you, and I'm talking like a lot of money, I'm gonna fucking spend it, man. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's why investors are needed, smart people are needed, friends are needed, families needed, whatever is needed, because money is the root of all evil. That is a freaking fact, dude. And if you have it, you're gonna spend it.
Yeah, and nobody's telling you not to. And
yeah,
and
it's like, I know I got a paycheck coming in 2 weeks. Whatever, let's blow it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Thing. Any human, if you go give a guy that has $100 in a bank account $100,000, or if you go give a guy that has $500,000 in his bank account $100,000, they're both probably gonna be like, holy, well, I've lived my whole life with nothing. I'm gonna go spend this because I don't really need it. Yeah. This guy's like, I just got an extra $100,000. I'm gonna go spend this because I got money. I got money
for free. Yeah.
Yeah. So it works. That's how I look at it, man. You give a guy nothing a bunch of money, he's like, well, I've lived with nothing my whole life, so I'm gonna blow it. You give a guy with a lot, he's like, well, I already got a lot, I'm gonna blow it. In every sense, and that's a lot of these athletes come into problems, man. I got my contract. They kind of make a half-assed budget, and all right, well, next year, okay, yeah, we're good. Let's go. Party. Yeah. Let's go. Let's spend it. Let's do something stupid. Let's go to Vegas and punch someone and whatever. Dude, I don't know.
Go to Vegas and punch somebody.
Yeah, dude, Ray Wright, you got all kinds of stuff, man, and money and alcohol.
Did you see, you mentioned Hard Knocks earlier, that defensive end Ryan Grigson giving everyone the 411 on financials? Did you see that?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, he was, he's a defensive lineman, and defensive end, and he's in there talking, and they've got Myles Garrett sitting in there. Myles Garrett got signed for $11 million or whatever, rookie contract, all this shit. And he's sitting there talking about compound interest. And if you take $100,000 and leave it in a compound interest bank account and telling these guys you'll have however many $30 million in 30 years or whatever, all this shit, and all the guys were like, you just tell me I put it in the bank and leave it, I can have $30 million? He's like, yeah. And they're like, hey, no way, and all this stuff. He's like, I'm telling you. And he's trying to coach all these guys. It's funny because they're in the meeting room for the defensive line, And the coach isn't in there like coaching them, but he's up there like on a whiteboard writing up diagrams and numbers and this and that, telling them about how they need to invest their money and do all this kind of stuff for the contracts and set themselves up for life and all this stuff. Is pretty funny, man. But all them guys are like, what are you telling me? I can have $30 million?
Well, and honestly, that's another sad part of the game of baseball, that there's a lot of the Latin players and a lot of players that come from inner cities and stuff that you always want to think you can trust your family and your friends and everything. And they get into a situation where they get all this money and they feel inclined, which I would too. If I was in a situation where my family, we had nothing our whole life.
Yeah.
And I would do everything for them and take care of them first and foremost. But then it becomes every other week they need something and they're going to keep giving and giving and giving and giving and giving. And then all of a sudden some of these guys end up with nothing, and then they go to their family for money and their family's like, nope, no, sorry.
Yeah.
And and that's sad. A lot of these guys, NFL, I know, they do everything for all those people. They did everything for them growing up, and then those people disappear. And then they're stuck with nothing. I read the broke for Antoine Walker. He paid his buddy $200,000 a year to start his car every morning. Start his car.
Jeez.
After he made $150 million in the NBA. Did it for 15 years. So this guy made almost $4 million. And he pocketed every bit of it. He was getting a free place to stay, food, parties, whatever. Antoine Walker goes bankrupt, asks his buddy for money. Sorry, man. Fucking guy leaves. Doesn't hear from him again.
Jeez. It's crazy,
Just
man.
tells you. No, like, that's why I'm saying, like, I've always had a small circle. You know, got caught up in some shit, but as far as, like, friends and family, never had a big circle. Never let any of that outside, like, never been one that needed to show off at the club for my 20 friends. Like, and that's something I take pride in. And it's sad to see, like, other people go through that. But ultimately, like, playing baseball, you want to have friends that don't care about money or fame or who you are. And so I'm not some I didn't sign a $100 million contract or anything like that. But even if I did, it's like I have friends and family that wouldn't treat me any different, wouldn't ask me for anything different, wouldn't ask me for help, wouldn't whatever. Because, I mean, they got their own shit going on. They got their own pride. They got their own everything. And I respect them. They respect me. And I think that gets lost in the game because of ego. I mean, ego runs high in professional sports.
Absolutely.
I mean,
has to, right?
I mean, you look at these guys that do stupid stuff when they go out. I mean, a lot of it's because they think they're above the law. They want to talk. You talk shit to a cop. You want to say something at a club because you want a chick to come back with you because you play in the NFL or you play in the NBA or you play in MLB, and you have an entitlement because you have more money in your bank account than most people there. But you know, I've been lucky and blessed to be surrounded by a good group of people that
that's good.
No one cares about that I played professional baseball. Like, they don't treat me any different. Yeah,
that's good, man. You don't have to mention any names, but has anybody ever come up to you asking for money? Say, hey, I got this business opportunity. I got this. If you invest.
You get people. I mean, you get people that want you to invest all the time.
Yeah.
And I mean, you get more people that want you to buy watches and suits and bags and shit. It's just.
Well, I'm talking like personally, like somebody like friend or anybody you know or something. You know, somebody from high school. Hey, man, nothing like that.
No, we got. Like I said, I run in a small, like really small circle, and I keep most things close, man, like family and everything like that. I've never had. My dad worked hard. He's done well. So as far as that, like my brothers are both doing well. One brother's playing, the other brother's in college. Like that's sad, dude. I've been fortunate to not have to deal. I mean, I know that's something that's like really common amongst all athletes, but I've been really fortunate not having to deal with a lot of the side drama BS, like stuff that causes anxiety and stress that a lot of people have to deal with. And I've just, like I said, I got a good group and a small group, and whether I make $100 a year or $1 million a year, that ain't gonna change nothing.
Good, man. Good for you. So we're an hour and 40 minutes in this thing. What do you think? You want to wrap it up?
Yeah, I can talk all night. Yeah, whatever.
What else you want to talk about, man?
I got nothing to do, man. I'm good. Whatever. Got my bourbon.
Got your bourbon. How's the golf game going?
I'm getting better, man.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is that good or a bad thing?
Nobody wants any of this on the course.
Oh, come on now.
Getting pretty good.
That's good, man.
Getting pretty good.
You got any crazy hobbies? You got anything else outside the game? You crazy fisherman or hunter? Or
I'm boring, man.
Like you like to read? You like to read? And
yeah, I actually do. No, I try and read at least 30 minutes a day. I read somewhere that's good for your brain, so try and keep the brain fired up. This guy's trying to get me into shooting. I like to shoot, but I haven't gotten into hunting yet. Fishing, not really, man. I'm pretty committed to the game still, and trying to get my golf game right. I'd love to be on the PGA Tour. It ain't never going to happen. I'm not sitting here telling you it's going to happen, but I love the game of golf, man. It's an escape for me. Baseball's been an escape for me.
Where's the coolest place you played golf?
Torrey Pines is pretty cool. Pebble Beach is pretty cool.
You played with anybody like crazy good or?
JB Holmes, he's on the tour.
He's spanky.
Oh, dude, I don't even. Why would I keep score against that guy, dude? They don't even need a scorecard. That's the crazy
they just
thing.
count
they just
one
go,
or two.
Yeah, it's
one
like
minus 1.
3. Yeah, I got a 3 on this one. Oh, cool.
Yeah,
5. Yeah, man, those guys are on another planet. But golf is like an escape for me, man. I love it.
Yeah.
It's relaxing. It's competitive as hell, which I shouldn't be so competitive because I haven't been playing since I was 8, like most of these guys. But yeah, man, I love it. It's an out for me, and hopefully it can continue to be a hobby until I have to get a real job.
Yeah. That's good, man. So what else you doing past the time? You got workouts and bullpens, all that stuff you're doing right now?
Yeah, man. Workouts, bullpens.
Who do you go throw with? I mean, you got somebody catching with you? I mean,
yeah,
obviously, right? But
I actually like to do a lot of my work. My dad has a shed, old school, man.
Yeah.
Just throw to a target, go down there and beat it up.
Hell yeah.
And kind of have my own piece too. Don't have to worry about anybody picking up the balls except myself. So it works out pretty well for me.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. What else you think, man?
That's about it, man.
I think I about got everything out I wanted to ask.
Yeah, man. Whatever. You guys.
It's been a good one.
Yeah. Like I said, I can answer any questions. Talk baseball all day, all night, man.
I wish I knew more about it and was better versed in it all, because I could probably get in pretty deep. But I'm a novice.
It's all good.
All right, let's go ahead and wrap it up, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate you doing this. Really coming on, having awesome, this has been a real good conversation. Definitely want you to come back whenever you get on that next team.
Come on, anytime, man.
Yeah, it'll be a good time. So, you got any social media thing, or you want people to hit you up and want to follow you?
I don't deal with that anymore.
None of that, huh?
No.
Just look him up on the TV when he's on the next team, man.
Yeah, I'll be around.
Mr. Cosart, good luck to you, brother. Wish you all the best. If any GMs are out there listening, you need to hit this boy up.
Yeah, let's go.
Still got some juice left in that arm. All right, man. Good luck to you. Thanks for coming on. Y'all be good. Have a good one.
Appreciate it.